The family of a Saskatchewan boy says he needs medication that the government will not cover. Luke Germs is 3. He's shorter than other kids his age and can't keep up with his playmates. His mother says without growth hormone shots, her son's health is going downhill. The CBC's Jennifer Cannell spoke with Luke and Kathleen Germs today.
Well, Kathleen, when would you say you started to notice that something was going wrong for Luke health-wise?
So we kind of always knew something was going wrong. When he was really little, he had lots of cases of pneumonia and bronchitis, and we felt like we were always at the doctor in the hospital. But then he stopped growing around 10 months old, and he was born at the 50th percentile for height. Weight was 25th percentile, and then he dropped to the 3rd. And, you know, doctors just kind of kept saying, well, you know, maybe he'll catch up again. And nobody really took us too seriously. But I just had that feeling in my stomach that something was really wrong. So I kept pushing for it. I kept going to doctors for answers. And then Luke started to fall off the growth chart and completely stop growing.
Meanwhile, his friends were doing what?
Growing, running, jumping. There's so many things that Luke can't do, you know, because his body isn't growing in size. Like also, for example, his muscles aren't really growing, so he can't run yet, he can't jump, even walking up the stairs he can't do. And kids who are like 18 months old can do that, and he's 3 years and 3 months. So, I mean, those were all very big red flags for us.
Luke's doctors have said that they would recommend these shots of human growth hormone. And I know there's a pretty significant cost associated with them. Would you be able to pay at least some of that up front and get him on the shots? Or what's happened in terms of getting it covered?
You know, we would really like to start him on shots as of 2 years ago, but it's very expensive. It's like a whole new mortgage payment, it feels like. It can be anywhere from $500 to $2,000 a month, just depending on how much they weigh. And the reason we haven't started yet is because the government said no to funding us, but also because if we do start them, we have a hard time building our case, because if he starts growing, people might think, oh, he's just growing on his own, we don't have to support this family. Yet, when in reality, he would be growing because of the medication.
And if he doesn't get this medication soon, Kathleen, what's your biggest concern?
Sorry, it's a hard question. My biggest concern is that it's affecting his overall health. It affects heart growth, lung growth, it affects their kidneys, it affects their brain development, it affects everything on the inside of their body. So if they're not growing on the outside, are they growing on the inside? And if they aren't growing on the inside, how is that going to affect my child?
Would some of those complications lead to more expensive treatments down the road?
They could possibly. I mean, another big thing is osteoporosis. You know, if their bones aren't developing well, muscle strength, there's lots of things. And of course, that would cause further problems and costs down the road.
What's your hope here?
My hope is that somebody will come forward to help us fund treatment for Luke. And within the first year of treatment, we would see if it was working. Even if he grew 7 centimeters, then, I mean, that would be awesome. And we would see so many things change for him, like, you know, his weight increase, his height increase, also his muscle tone. Maybe he could start running. Maybe he could walk up the stairs. Maybe we could buy him new clothes because we've never had to.
Kathleen, I know that you wrote to officials at the Ministry of Health, your doctor did, asking, would you please cover this shot? They said no, and I guess what bothers you about that?
You know, at first I was just kind of shocked by it, but then this weekend was really hard. I cried a lot just because it's like my child needs help growing and to be healthy, and I know what's going to help him, and so does his doctor, yet it's out of my reach because it's so expensive. And I mean, just help my son. He's 3 years old, he can't do it on his own, and so I have to be his voice.